Mennonite, 79-49. Rob leads the way again with 35, and then you saw on Cable 4 in the semifinals the defeat of the top-seeded Anvil Cleono Dutchman, 80-64. Robin Smith leading the way with 24.
Eastern, I think, in a game like this, as you take a look at Columbia's record coming into the finals, Kevin, they have beaten Littlestown 62-56. Mike Whistler leading the way with 20. They beat DeLone Catholic, who we just saw win the consolation game here, 61-52. Again, Mike Whistler with 29. So there's no doubt about it. He's the man they look for in the middle. Only a sophomore, but obviously a very good one, because even his foul shooting percentage is up in the 80 percentile.
We get a look at the back of Coach Mark Eckert as he's down on the floor talking to his assistants. Over on the other side for Columbia, their first-year head coach, and Rick Bentley, and he steps into a tough situation, Craig, as he had to replace Gary Sutton, who all he did last year was win a state title.
Well, that was such a bizarre story. Of course, as everybody knows, Columbia having a good season, but obviously not to the satisfaction of their fans. Gary Sutton announced his resignation before the playoffs and then took his team to a state title. I can't think of sweeter revenge. But he had a lot of these players play for him last year. Whistler, of course, was only a 9th grader. Albert Ellis was a junior. And Rick Bentley, who was an assistant to Warren Goodling at Hempfield on the right there, is the man who succeeded him. So there's been a lot of movement among the coaching ranks.
Well, Columbia got the state title last year. The one thing they could not get, though, was that district title. They go after that tonight, but they're going to have to defeat the defending champions, the Eastern Golden Knights. We'll be back with the introduction of the starting lineups right after this.
Work. It can mean independence.
When I came to the workshop for the blind, I got counseling, training, and a job. Now I help other blind people like myself learn new skills for jobs, both here and in outside industry. It feels good.
Support your local workshop for the blind. Remember, working is everyone's privilege.
Back at the Farm Show, it's reached a fever pitch as these fans have had all day to think about it. Now the moment has come for the introduction of the starting lineup. Let's go right down to the floor.
Wearing number 12, a 5'8" senior, Albert Ellis. At guard, number 14, a 5'8" senior, Chris File. At forward, number 22, a 6'1" junior, Mike Burke. At forward, wearing number 33, a 6'3" junior, Kerry Smith. And at center, at 6 feet 6 inches, a sophomore wearing number 31, Mike Whistler. The head coach, Mr. Rick Bentley. And now the starting lineup for the Golden Knights of Eastern. Starting at guard, wearing number 22, a 5'10" freshman, Paul Abel. At guard, wearing number 40, a 6' junior, Donald Knob. At forward, number 42, a 6'4" junior, Ryan Smith. At forward, number 44, a 6'3" senior, Kirk Richard. And at center, number 52, a 6'7" senior, Jonathan Robb. The head coach, Mr. Mark Eckert. The officials for this game are Mr. Jack
Boys,
Slusser,
Double-A title is on the
Mr.
line
Jack
from the Farm
Farr.
Show.
The alternate, Mr. Robert Steinmetz.
Buy this Isuzu and you'll get a free house. He's lying, but we're not at Jack Jimbabo Isuzu, now in our new location at 1793 Whiteford Road, next to the Ford dealer. Stop in and see the full line of Isuzu cars and trucks. Discover the front-wheel drive iMarks, the sporty Impulses, and rugged trucks. The selection is so big and the price is so low, you'll think we're lying. But we're not, at the new Jack Jimbabo Isuzu on Whiteford Road in York.
Both teams out on the floor. They meet at the center circle. It'll be Rob to go, not against Whistler. Instead, it'll be number 33, Kerry Smith to jump for Columbia.
And you can bet there are many people in this arena tonight, Kevin, that remember 1960 when Columbia turned for the district title 78-73.
Ryan Smith controls the tap.
Two-3 zone for the Crimson Tide.
Riekert can't get the first shot of the game, and it's cleared out of there by number 22, Mike Burke. They look long for Whistler down along the right baseline. His shot rims out. Smith hustles after it, but he runs right out of bounds along the eastern bench. A new look for Don Knob tonight, as we said in the pregame, because of the injury. Got to come away and wear those goggles.
A little bit of a trap that time, a 1-2-2 half-court trap. The point guard, however, was up over half-court, looking to trap right before the timeline or right after it. Right there, there's the two-time. Now they'll drop back.
Abel gets it away to Riekert. Robb in the middle. Double team, puts it to the floor, finds Riekert back along the baseline. His shot rolls around, won't go in, and they're going to get robbed for coming over the back of Mike Whistler.
Real active on the collapse on John Robb in the middle. Whistler behind him, a wingman drops down on him, so it's going to be tough for John Robb early.
Well, if Columbia's going to play that 2-3 zone, somebody's going to have to hit from the outside for Eastern.
See how they're attacking the wing, and then they drop back down. There's actually 3 men surrounding Robb, and in a good blockout position by Whistler there, and Robb over the top.
Ellis inside to Smith. Gets the first bucket of the night for the Crimson Tide.
The entire town of Columbia and the entire town of Wrightsville and Hellam, towns of Wrightsville and Hellam, must be here tonight.
Riekert with a good save to Smith. Now it's Knob, and he hits the first bucket for Eastern.
Well, he's got those protective goggles on, but they obviously didn't affect him on that shot. Keep a close eye. Reisinger, of course, is a good player to come in there defensively. He doesn't have the offensive skills of a Donnie Knob.
Ellis penetrates, gets it away to Kerry Smith. He can't hit the shot from the baseline, and Smith comes up with the loose ball. Abel pushes it up. Now he pulls it back. Knob into Robb. It's knocked away. Robb comes up with it, finds Smith, goes along the baseline, reverses under the basket, and he's got it.
Good work between the two big men. Nice assist by John Robb looking for Ryan Smith underneath. See, I think the two of them can really create problems for Mike Whistler underneath.
4-2, the Golden Knights on top. Whistler, his shot blocked by Smith, but Smith got a piece of the arm. So it's not Robb on Smith, or excuse me, it's not Robb on Whistler, it's Ryan Smith on Mike Whistler.
It's 2 personal fouls, too, on John Robb, and this is decision time, I think, for... I'll double check that last foul call. We have Robb for 2.
Whistler hits the foul shot.
Last foul called on Ryan Smith, so 1 on Smith, 1 on Robb. I talked about Whistler. He's an 84% free throw shooter, 208 for 247. Kevin, we haven't seen numbers like that all year long from anybody at the foul line.
Riekert to Smith along the baseline, and he's going to pick up his second foul as he charges into Whistler along the right baseline.
Boy, I tell you, that was a borderline call, because I felt the defensive man may have come close to having his feet set, but from the angle we were at, he leaned his body out. You make the call, but clearly he wasn't set.
Tied at 4 as Albert Ellis gets it across the timeline. For 3, it's Burke, and he's got it.
Well, Burke averages almost 11 a game as a 6'1 junior. Michael Burke, number 22.
Riekert draws the foul in the backcourt from Kerry Smith.
So Columbia shows early balance. Burke has 3, Whistler 2, Smith 2, and for Eastern, Knob has 2 and Smith has 2.
Into Rob it goes, right at the elbow. His shot rims out. Smith with the offensive rebound, powers it back up and in.
I love it. Ryan Smith on the offensive boards, one of the best I've seen this year, to the offensive boards.
File looks for Ellis under the basket, can't get it to him. Whistler turns to his right, now leans back to his left, won't go down. Rob fights for the rebound, has it knocked away. Whistler comes up with it off the glass for two.
John Robb backed off a little bit on that second attempt because of the one personal foul. He didn't want to get that second one this early.
Abel split the double team, but as he did, he got both hands on the ball on a third turnover for the Eastern Golden Knights. 9-6, Columbia on top. 4:40 to play in the first period. Whistler goes to the baseline, turns Rob around, and then he hits nothing but net.
Boy, he has a soft shot. Turn and face the basket, no one there to pick him up and get a hand in his face. Just a sophomore, Mike Whistler.
Work it into Rob. They collapse around him, and he's going to be called for the travel.
Eastern starting out in this ball game, not unlike they did against Anvil Cleona, kind of digging themselves an early hole. The difference in this ball game is the height of a Columbia.
Ellis works it across the timeline for the Crimson Tide.
Now Rob is matched up against Whistler. Ryan Smith looks like he's just kind of playing a zone down there, Kevin.
Rob gets the rebound, pushed by Smith. By his own Smith. That was Ryan that crashed into Rob, but he was able to maintain his balance, and now the Knights set up their offense. Smith, turnaround, way too long. Rebound in the outlet pass out to Albert Ellis. Has File trailing, gets him in the lane. Shot won't roll down. Whistler's there, off the glass for two. Mark Eckert wants a timeout as Columbia has ran off to a 13-6 lead in the early going.
Volunteer for the American Red Cross.
We talked about the battle of the big man, Craig, and early it's been Mike Whistler.
Nice dish off right there by Albert Ellis, and when the shot's missed, Whistler's right there, just slightly beating Rob down the floor, and he had enough position to get an easy two.
8 points in the early going for Mike Whistler.
He's good, Kevin. He really is good. He showed a nice soft touch on his outside shot. He goes to the glass, and he plays pretty good defense.
Here come the Knights now as they trail by 7, 13-6.
Columbia matching up man now.
Rob, turnaround in the lane. It won't go down for him. Riekert has the tip and then has it knocked away and saved by Albert Ellis. Now it's Ryan Smith with the steal, and he's fouled by Ellis. I'm not going to call it a shooting foul, so the Knights will have to inbounds from underneath their own bucket.
Well, you talk about an opportunity where I think I could call an intentional foul. It's right there because you know Ryan Smith had the advantage on Albert Ellis, and he just grabbed a hold of him to prevent the shot.
Abel with his first shot of the night. It's short. Burke gets the rebound for Columbia. Now it's File. It goes cross court for Kerry Smith. Whistler for three. He's in double figures.
I'll tell you who comes to mind, and when I look at Whistler, is a young Tom McMillan. He's got that left hand. He's tall. He can shoot from the outside.
Rob on the floor. His shot won't go, but once again, Ryan Smith right there for the putback.
Ryan Smith is keeping them in this ball game as his offensive rebound takes him to 6 points on the night of the 8 in the Eastern totals.
Burke can't get it, and Knob gets the Eastern rebound. Paul Abel crossed the timeline. Knob pushes it into Rob, turns to his right, goes back with the drop step, can't hit it. Ellis gets the rebound. Burke in three-point land. Back to Whistler. Now it's File being guarded by Abel. He lobs it in for Whistler. Back to File for three. Too short. Robb collects the rebound.
I'm surprised they're going for so many three-point opportunities with the size that they have inside with Whistler.
Ellis commits the foul in the backcourt. That's going to be 2 on him.
Well, that certainly wasn't a smart foul. You're up 16-8, 1:46 to go in the first quarter, and you foul a man out around midcourt with really no chance at all to make a steal.
Not in the 1-and-1 yet, so the Knights will have to bring it in.
Columbia has 2 men on Robb. They're just going to, like, slack off of Riekert.
And Riekert connects from the right wing.
He may be the man that's open since they keep dropping that wingman down on Robb and two-timing the inside.
Kerry Smith, bounce pass for Whistler, gets to the foul line, ducks inside, shot too hard off the glass, right-handed tap won't go down, and Ryan Smith collects the Eastern rebound.
Columbia's been their own worst enemy the last 3 times down the floor.
Riekert for 3, and it's nothing but net.
They're doing a good job of exploiting the defensive man dropping off of Riekert and going down on Robb. He's taken that shot 2 times in a row and dropped it.
The Knights climb right back into it, 16-13. Columbia on top, under a minute to play in the first period. Ellis drives, now he dumps it off inside to Kerry Smith, and they call Robb for the foul on the reach-in.
Well, that was a close call too, Kevin, because I'm not saying there wasn't a reach-in, but I didn't think it was John Robb. I thought he was the beneficiary when the ball popped loose. See, watch inside here. Yes, he did reach in and got the top of the forearm, so good call by the official.
Columbia gets it in, File leaves it back for Whistler, and they're going to play for 1 with 40 seconds to play in the first period.
Even if Columbia scores here 2 or 3 points, I think Eastern has got to be happy with where the score is going to be at the end of the first quarter with the problems they had early in the first quarter.
Down to 28 seconds to play in the first period. And the Eastern fans on this side of the floor don't like this strategy.
Well, they've been quiet through much of the first quarter, and a little bit of a comeback has spurred them on, and now they're not real happy with this delay game, but it's very smart basketball.
Whistler for 3, and that was way downtown, and he got it.
That was close to an NBA 3. I think he got the wrong line when he marked himself up on the floor.
Riekert with 4 away to Abel. He's downtown. His shot's too short, and they're going to go to the bench at the end of the first quarter with the Crimson Tide on top, 19-13.
Charles Bronson isn't happy.
Sure takes guts to vandalize parks or beat up on trees. But that's what some jerks are doing to our public lands. Only the land can't fight back. But we can. We can save our lands, you and me. Let's face it, someone who gives us kicks, punching out flowers, shouldn't be too much of a match for us.
Write Take Pride in America. Post Office Box 1339, Jessup, Maryland, 20794.
This is how we ended the first quarter. Mike Whistler from downtown, Craig.
Look, he's right on that orange NBA line, and nothing but net. Just a nice shot. And I think the story of the first quarter, Kevin, Eastern's down 6. Whistler has 14 points in the book. Robb has none.
Columbia gets the ball to start the second period. File looks inside. Well, they dish it back out to him. He goes to Whistler, left alone, and he's got it, and he's fouled by Kirk Riekert. This is not unlike the last time we saw Eastern, Craig, when Will Lasky went for 23 first half points, but they shut him down in the second half. Now the adjustment has to be made to this guy right here, Mike Whistler.
Do you know what's so good about him? That was a very mature move because he's a left-hander, and the normal move would be to drop step the other way and go with the left hand. That time he came back the awkward way, quote unquote, for a left-hander to score. Interesting stat, Whistler has made more foul shots than the team totals of Votek, Kennerdale, and Redline. Tom Nicholson, the leading foul shooter in York County, hit 135 of 155. Whistler hit 208 of 247 on the year. That is amazing.
Knob left alone, and he gets a 2-pointer. 22-15.
Donnie Knob looks like he's getting down to business on defense now. He's taken off the goggles and say, I'm going to play this the way I normally play my defensive game.
With Robb and Whistler really pushing inside. Whistler can't hit it. Riekert gets the rebound, pushes it up the other way, cross court to Knob. Pulls up off the glass, too long. Ellis gets the rebound, now he goes long. Mike Burke now settles down the Columbia offense. File looks inside to Whistler, finally gets it to him, but Robb pokes it away from behind, right into his teammate Paul Abel's hands. Riekert lobs it in to Robb, puts it on the floor once and then goes up over Whistler and puts in his first bucket of the night.
He always seems more comfortable facing the basket than he does with his back to the basket.
22-17, Columbia with that 5-point lead. File penetrates, then he finds Kerry Smith along the wing. He can't get it to go down, and Riekert with another Eastern rebound. Pulls up, then he dumps it inside to Robb. Turnaround, no good. Knob was there for the rebound, jumped too soon, and File tipped it away from behind to Albert Ellis. Whistler for three, he's got it.
Oh man, he just doesn't miss from three-point range. Very comfortable, very soft shot.
25-17, Columbia. Knob out on the wing, now he goes back up top to Abel. They look inside to Robb. Knob penetrates, goes underneath the basket, leaves it for Smith. Gets it blocked from behind by Whistler, but they're going to get Whistler for the foul. We said it was getting physical, Craig, and here's an example of it.
Yeah, watch what goes on away from the ball. Good defense by Robb. Result is to knock that pass away to the inside. Good ISO by our cameraman.
Ryan Smith takes a trip to the line. First one hits the front of the rim and rolls out. Nothing but net on the second, so it's back to a 7-point Columbia lead. Whistler out at the high post now. Sets a screen for File, but they leave it for Burke. Now it's Albert Ellis working against Donnie Knob. Penetrates, knocked away by Robb and Stolden.
Three turnovers for the Crimson Tide. And one more for the Golden Knights. That's 5 for them.
Eddie Reisinger just checked into the game with the pass sailing away.
And those 5 Eastern turnovers have resulted in 4 Columbia points. And they lead by 7.
Ellis back out on top now. With some of the screens down inside, Craig, they are hard screens. Shot, no good. It's tipped out by Robb, but it goes right to Kerry Smith. Now it's Whistler out top, works, spins back to his right, leaves it for File, and he's going to be called for the travel as he shuffled his feet.
It'll be interesting to see what adjustments Coach Eckert makes at halftime defensively. Whistler already up to 20 points. There's still 4.5 minutes to go in this second quarter. About the only thing you could do would be to risk taking another defensive player off someone. Albert Ellis hasn't scored yet.
Riekert for three, can't get it. Robb tipped it up, wouldn't go down. The Crimson Tide come away and quickly outlet to Ellis, but he's going to pull it up and wait for his teammates.
You know that Ellis has got to be their best guard, however, because Donnie Knobb's assigned to him.
Whistler steps behind the three-point line, and he's got another one.
It's like you're watching a 6'1" guard out there, and he's a 6'6" sophomore. Really nice shooting touch. I'm very impressed by Mike Whistler.
Back up to a 10-point Columbia lead at 28-18. Knob drives the baseline and charges right into Mike Burke.
Can you imagine walking away from this coaching situation? That had to be a tough one for Gary Sutton.
And how do you stop him, though? I mean, you got a big guy, like you said, 6'6", that can step outside and hit three-pointers.
That's what makes him so effective, because you can't just count on dropping a guard down on him to help.
3.5 to play in the first half. 10-point Columbia lead, 28-18.
I'll tell you what, though, I might think about switching Ryan Smith back to him. Ryan Smith has 2 personal fouls, but early in that third quarter, he may be in a position to come out a little bit better. That time he switches only because of the defensive switch.
File gives it away to Ellis, and the Crimson Tide looks a little bit content to run some time here, Craig. Knob commits the foul, his second.
See, as long as you have Whistler being the man that goes to the line, I'm going to only say this stat one more time. He's hit 208 of 247 foul shots this year, 84% free throw shooter. They're the kind of stats that are reserved for a Tommy Nicholson and a Michael Proud, not for a 6'6" sophomore.
Whistler misses his first of the night, 3 of 4 from the line. Riekert inside to Robb. Double team, gets it back to Riekert. Puts a move on. Now he finds Reisinger alone at the foul line. His shot is way short. And it goes out of bounds, and Columbia will head back the other way, still with a 10-point lead.
With a 10-point deficit, that's not the shot you want to take. Yes, it was a good shot. It was at the foul line, but Reisinger's forte is defense, not offense. He's averaging just a little over 1 point per ball game.
Kerry Smith gives it to Whistler. And it is Smith now on Whistler, but he's going to have to step out into three-point land. That's the first one Whistler missed from out there.
Well, at least that time you had a man within a step or two of him, rather than John Robb sitting back down in the paint or at the edge of the paint while Whistler pops the three-point shots.
Reisinger on the wing. Good pass to Robb inside. Going to get the foul on Whistler, and the bucket's going to go.
Now, I like what Ed Reisinger did that time. He had a shot, or what appeared to be. They backed off of him, and instead of trying to shoot, he looked to see who he could dump it to, and Robb made a real positive move right down the lane, and Whistler gets called for the block.
We got a timeout down on the floor. 28-20. Columbia is on top of Eastern with 2:17 to play in the second period.
If you don't read the Wall Street Journal, you're saving a little time when you could be investing it.
Call 800-892-9000 for this great journal subscription offer. 13 weeks for just $29.75 with a money-back guarantee. 13 weeks, $29.75. Phone 800-892-9000 now for the Wall Street Journal.
We were talking in the break, Craig. For Columbia, it's been nothing but a one-man show. Mike Whistler, 23 of 28 points.
Unbelievable. Burke had the three-pointer. Smith had 2 points. Other than that, 23 points for Whistler, including 4 three-pointers. So we were talking about the difficulty of matching up on a Whistler with that ability to go outside.
Sure, a guy like Robb or Ryan Smith, who just completed the three-point play, they're not used to playing defense out around the top of the key.
And in the York County League, quite frankly, they're not used to seeing the big players. There haven't been that big of players in the league the last 2 years.
File can't get the shot to go down, and 3 Golden Knights are there. Ryan Smith comes away with it. Riekert thinks about 3. Now he passes it up. Well, they got Smith open in the middle. Now is being guarded by File. Robb with the turnaround, and he's got it.
I think Eastern's going to be okay if they can just keep it under 10 till halftime and then go for some type of an adjustment to see what they want to do with Whistler. They got it within 5.
And the fans on this side appreciate the comeback effort. Burke can't hit it, and Smith with a good box out gets the rebound. Abel for 3. Can't get it. Burke goes up high for the rebound and gets it away to File. He goes long for Ellis. Has Whistler trailing, ducks inside, and he's got it off the glass.
That's a big turnaround. Did you like the three-point shot? That's a rhetorical question, because it certainly made a difference in his ball game rather than going for a higher percentage shot.
Riekert for three. Rims out. Rob tips it to himself. Back up off the glass for two.
Whistler kind of got lost in the shuffle that time on the missed three-pointer by Riekert, and Rob was able to control.
30-25, Columbia with under a minute to play in the first half. Kerry Smith goes to the baseline, cut off by Rob. Bounce pass to Burke, who's all alone for an easy two.
They pulled everybody up above the foul line to run that semi-delay, semi-freeze, looking for a layup, and they got it.
Knob pushes it into Rob, ducks down, and he's going to get a trip to the foul line as he's fouled by Chris Files.
They've done an interesting thing now. Columbia, the last two times down, have pulled Whistler off of Rob and let other players go after him, namely number 33, Smith.
I was going to say maybe they're trying to protect Whistler a little bit. He does have two fouls, but he's going to take a seat on the bench here for the end of the first half. Replaced by number 10, Chris Seesock. Rob gets the first.
Also number 25, John Sheets, in the ball game. So Whistler's going to sit out the last 22 seconds.
Rob can't get the second one to roll home, and it's a 6-point Columbia lead with 15 seconds to play in the first half. File out top, looks up at the clock. It's down to 5. Sheets to File, cut off by Riekert, gets to the baseline as it partially blocked. Rob's going to get it, and that's the way we're going to end the first half with a 6-point Columbia lead, 32-26.
A beginning, yet unborn, but needing a mother's care even before birth. Eat sensibly. Don't drink. Don't smoke. Good prenatal care helps make healthy babies. This advice from the March of Dimes.
(32-26), the halftime score here from the Farm Show as we see the Golden Knights coming out of the locker room. And they get together and try to mount an effort in the second half to stop Craig, a guy that has been very hot in the first half, and that is Mike Whistler.
Well, if they can mount the kind of effort that they did against Will Lasky in the semifinals, they can come home a winner tonight.
Let's take a look at Paul's halftime stats, and the first thing that's going to jump out is the Crimson Tide shooting percentage.
It's really bizarre. You look at field goal percentage, you say 35%, but remember, we back out that three-point shooting, and with Whistler hitting real hot from three-point range, plus Burke has one, they have hit 5 of 8 from three-point range, 63%. The Golden Knights 1 of 5. That was Riekert, so they're hitting 20%. So the shooting is definitely off for the Golden Knights. At the free throw line, very good foul shooting by Columbia, 3 of 4, 3 of 5 for the Knights for 60%. Turnovers about even at 4 and 6. Rebounds, Eastern came on strong in that second quarter. They are out-rebounding the Crimson Tide 18-14, and off of their offensive rebounds, they have scored 6 points. The turnovers, 4 Columbia turnovers have resulted in 2 Eastern points. 6 Eastern turnovers have resulted in 4 Columbia points. So certainly the three-point shooting has been a factor. Whistler has been the biggest factor.
And that biggest factor is going to lead the way for the Crimson Tide with 23. And as you look right down the rest of their lineup, Mike Burke with 5, Albert Ellis with 2, and Kerry Smith with 2, and that rounds out their scoring. Over on the Eastern side, Rob has reached double figures in the first half with 10, Ryan Smith with 7, and Riekert with 5. Now, before we came back, Craig, we talked about what's Mark Eckert going to do defensively, and we threw out a couple suggestions. Maybe Kirk Riekert on Mike Whistler?
Maybe. I'd like Ryan Smith. However, he's got 2 fouls. You got to be a little careful. Maybe just switching off Kirk Riekert and Ryan Smith. Boxing 1 worked so well for him the other night. You would suspect he's got to at least go back and try something like that. Boxing 1 is a little tougher to run, however, with an inside player, although it does allow you to two-time downside. But Whistler has the added dimension of going outside for the shot.
Well, it's like I said in the box and one, the other guys really haven't proven that they can score yet.
They haven't. Albert Ellis has 2, Burke has 5, Smith has 2, and that's been about it.
Well, let's see what Mark Eckert and the Golden Knights come up with in the second half. They trail by 6 at halftime, 32-26.
Thanks for all your help. I'll be by tomorrow to pick up my new Bonneville. At Jack Jimbavo Pontiac Mazda, car buying is a pleasant experience. Their goal is to help you find the best car or truck that suits your needs. Their skilled professional staff of men and women are committed to serving you, not just selling you. So the next time you're in the market for a new car or truck, visit Jack Jimbavo Pontiac Mazda, Route 30 East in York. And remember, who cares? Everyone at Jack Jimbavo's.
Eastern with the ball to start the second half. Paul Abel gives it away to Kirk Riekert. Right into Robb. Turnaround from the baseline is short. Gets his own rebound, tied up by Whistler, and it's going to go over to Columbia.
Eastern was down 7 against Annville Cleona. And remember, John Robb came out of the halftime locker room chat with fire in his eyes, said Coach Eckert. And it became very obvious on our Cable 4 screen by the fourth quarter that that was true.
Mark Eckert said, "I've never seen that look in his eyes."
Well, they need it now.
Smith with the block against Whistler. Now he goes long for Knob. Works against File, and it's knocked away and out of bounds.
Knob has gone back to the goggles. He didn't seem real comfortable getting his steps adjusted for that layup. Good defensive play.
Alley-oop to Robb, pushed by Whistler, gets the shot away anyhow. Can't get it, then he's going to get the cheap foul over the back.
Here's the breakaway by Knob. Good drop by the defense. He takes a look. And the play is broken up, and it results on the inbounds play on a foul on John Robb. So that's 3 on him, Kevin. Now let's watch what they're going to try to do defensively. They do have Ryan Smith on Whistler. Whistler at the high post.
File dumps it down along the baseline to Burke, and he got the first bucket of the second half for Columbia. Knob left alone, dumps it into Robb. Works against Whistler, goes to the baseline, and he's got it. 34-28 Columbia.
It looks as though if Whistler's going to play behind Robb, Mark Eckert's going to say, go ahead, give him the ball, we'll take that short jump shot and count on Ryan Smith to crash the boards.
Whistler blocked by Riekert, and it's going to be a jump ball. Good help that time from Kirk Riekert as Smith was playing behind Mike Whistler.
Certainly Riekert has the size at 6'3", and he's physical enough to help out. He would be a likely choice. I think your observation was absolutely correct, Kevin.
And as the Knights come back the other way, they get a little sloppy with the bounce pass, and it goes out of bounds.
And that kind of thing's inexcusable in game number 26 of the year.
Ellis sets the Columbia offense. File dumps it into Whistler, double team, triple team. Gets it away to Albert Ellis, and he's got a three-pointer. (37-28). Riekert for 3. He's got it.
I think this is the most three-point shots we've seen attempted and made in a ball game this year, Kevin. Comment on Albert Ellis's shot, however, I thought the defense of Eastern looked much more aggressive prior to that shot.
There's another 3, but this one rims out. Robb gets the rebound, hounded in the backcourt, but now it's Paul Abel bringing it up for the Golden Knights.
I really sense that Eastern feels it's time to turn on the juice.
Riekert can't get it. Ellis pulls up, now he's guarded by Knob, back to Smith. File for 3. Rolls out, and Robb with a rebound.
Interesting, Whistler's not coming to the outside, he's on the inside, and yet Robb is dominating defensive boards early in this quarter.
Riekert cross court for Knob, off the glass, and it rolls in.
Ooh, John Wooden would have loved that shot. Take the glass, square up, and put it down. They're within 4, Kevin.
37-33, Columbia. File to Burke in the middle, can't get it. Riekert with the rebound, comes out on the run.
And Kevin, Mike Whistler isn't even touching the basketball in this third quarter. Unbelievable.
Now he's the one that's got to get some fire in his eyes and say, hey, fellas, get it to me.
I had 23 in the first half. Don't forget about me.
Smith can't get it. The long rebound comes out the foul. Finds Albert Ellis down the court. Cut off by Abel, blocked by Riekert. Gets his own rebound, up, no good. Whistler's there, off the glass for two.
Whistler had to create his own points off the offensive rebound because he certainly is not getting it in a set offense.
Back up to a 6-point lead for the Crimson Tide, 39-33.
They're now sitting back in that 2-3 half-court zone, very active on the wings. They're going down with the ball in the corner.
Good catch by John Robb, and then from behind the basket, he puts it in.
Kevin, Whistler almost looks lethargic in this third quarter, to be quite honest. He's not aggressive on defense as well.
Ryan Smith guarding him inside. Ellis to Burke. Forces the shot up, it's short, and John Robb comes away with the rebound.
So it's Ryan Smith that has taken the task of guarding Mike Whistler, and with the exception of that offensive rebound, Whistler has not touched the ball in the set offense.
Riekert penetrates, gets it to Smith inside. He has his shot blocked, but he draws the foul.
And if it's Whistler, which I think it is, he'll have three and Robb will have three.
Now it's going to be Kerry Smith with the foul. And Rick Bentley wants a timeout as he senses this lead getting away from him with 3:50 to play in the third quarter. Columbia on top by 4, 39-35.
Rumors make great headlines, like the one about me going back to play for the Vikings. Boy, is that a rumor. But rumors can also create a panic, like the ones about AIDS. Some people think you get AIDS from donating blood. The fact is, you can't. When you give blood, it's the first and the last time that needle is used. All needles are sterile and disposable. So get the facts before you believe the rumors.
Rumors are spreading faster than AIDS. For more information, write the American Red Cross.
Back here at the Farm Show as we get a look at this last play, Craig, and Ryan Smith earned this trip to the foul line.
Good catch right there. That was tough. The dump-off pass coming through traffic, and he stays with it, and you see the foul called on Kerry Smith.
So Smith will have a chance to bring the Knights to within 2.
Ryan Smith, a 67% free throw shooter on the year, 81 of 121.
He's got the first.
He's bumped his scoring average by 2 in the playoffs. He averaged 16-4 during the season, 18-3 during the playoffs. So he's been a real plus, not only all year, but in the playoffs for the Golden Knights.
Second one rolls around and goes home.
Is this a second half team or what? They did it to Dallastown in the second half. They've done it to numerous teams in the second half.
39-37, Columbia. Foul, bounce past the Whistler. Now it's Ellis. Ellis gets to the foul line, has it kick off his leg, makes the save before it goes across the timeline. Foul, bounce pass for Whistler, knocked away by Riekert, right to Ellis. Now it's Kerry Smith along the baseline, cut off. Burke finds Ellis all alone. Good dump off to Whistler off the glass for 2.
Superb pass by Albert Ellis. 2 in the book for Whistler, but 2 in Rick Bentley's heart for Albert Ellis.
Robb at the foul line, pushes it in, shot is short. Smith comes away with the rebound and he's hammered inside. First it was Whistler, but they're going to get the foul on Mike Burke.
He just has an uncanny ability to be around the offensive glass.
This sort of reminds me of Spike Johnson last night. Watch this little left-handed shovel pass.
Well, when you get in that close and you're 5'8", and the big guys are coming at you, you look for an open red jersey, and he found it in Whistler.
Smith to Riekert for 3. Kicks off the heel. I thought it went off the top of the backboard. They didn't call it out of bounds, and Robb gets the rebound and puts it back in.
Eastern is much more aggressive than Columbia in this third quarter. Watch their defense. They're going after the ball on the passing lane.
Whistler rattles one home.
Now, that's the first time he's gone outside in this offense in the third quarter. Which maybe Rick Bentley made that offensive adjustment at the timeout.
Abel to Smith, has it blocked from behind, stays after it. Kerry Smith comes up now. Ryan Smith with the steal off the glass for 2. Eastern keeps climbing to within 2. Illegal screen on Mike Burke as he just basically threw a block right into Ryan Smith. Here it is, Ryan Smith now.
Abel on the dish off. Ryan Smith gets it partially blocked. Watch him stay with it. Over the top. Save in. He's going to get it one more time for the score. He is so persistent. So persistent. I really like him as a player. Look for big things from him next year. He's just got to continue to improve and work hard.
Abel left alone for 2. We're tied up.
So it's the freshman that brings them even, while the junior and senior had led the way during this third quarter.
The last tie of this game was at 4 apiece back in the first quarter. Now it's 43-all with a minute and a half in the third period. File penetrates, cut off by Abel. Whistler along the baseline, can't get it. Rob clears house inside. Donnie Knob to Ryan Smith back outside.
Now you want the best available shot to start them thinking that you can score at will and get that lead when you want it.
Riekert back to Abel, gets around File, penetrates, finds Knob inside, left-handed off the glass. The Knights on top, 45-43. Under a minute to play, 45 seconds in the third period.
And now Columbia is playing defensively on offense.
And they're going to just hold on for the last shot here as we're down to 30 seconds to play.
And it looks like Eastern's choosing to play offensively on defense.
Whistler behind his back, and then he rattles one home.
He's got some skills, Kevin.
Now the Knights will have a chance, down to 10 seconds in the third period. Riekert across the timeline. Long pass inside to Rob. Drop step, and he's going to draw the foul from Mike Whistler. 3 on Whistler, and that had to be an anxious moment in Mark Eckert's heart.
Good call by the official, though. There was no doubt about that one. I'll tell you what I couldn't believe, how far that pass went from Riekert to Rob without anybody making a challenge of it. It looks to me like Columbia is committed to playing behind Rob no matter what. I mean, they should have been able to come around the side of him and get a piece of that pass.
That pass traveled from, oh, we'll say the end of the circle across the timeline to the foul line. Rob can't connect from the foul line on the first shot.
Now it's important not to foul.
Gets the second one, and Eastern on top by 1. File cross court for Albert Ellis. Finds Burke, and they've got a whistle in the back court. Let's see what the holdup is. The clock started. Maybe it didn't start soon enough.
Boy, that was a bizarre whistle, Kevin, because the play was moving along so fast. There was a block. At first, I thought they were going to call a foul, which I didn't believe it was.
Well, let's see what they're going to do here. They got the ball down along the baseline. There's 1 second on the clock.
I think I'd just pack it in a 2-3 zone. And
the Whistler's out of the ball game, so let's see who they try and go to. It's Ellis, gets it away from 3. It's too long. And the Knights, the second half team that we've seen through the District 3 playoffs, have climbed on top, 46-45 at the end of 3.
Maybe you heard just a little crack is okay. Maybe you heard cocaine can't really hurt you. Well, you heard wrong. There's no home run on cocaine. You get me? Are you listening? Just a little bit of crack or cocaine can be addictive or even kill you. That's the real truth. The lie is, it's the other guy who's going to die.
Cocaine, the big lie. Call 1-800-662-HELP.
The Eastern fans have liked what they've seen through 3 quarters. Their team on top by 1, 46-45.
Well, if Eastern can have the kind of fourth quarter they had against Annville Cleona, they'd love to have it because they scored 34 points in the fourth quarter, 1 short of a district record held by Middletown versus Line Mountain in 1972. So it doesn't start that way, but neither did the fourth quarter against Annville Cleona.
Knob with good hustle, gets it back to Abel, goes inside, and he charges right into Mike Whistler.
Good call. No doubt about that one. Abel just got a little bit too anxious and leaned in.
Mike Burke had hit the first field goal of the final period to put Columbia back on top, 47. Before this foul, gives Columbia a chance to build on their lead.
Third quarter stats, Kevin. Eastern shot 58% from the field, Columbia 37%. That was the biggest difference. Rebounding about even, turnovers about even. Eastern did go to the foul line 4 times, hit 3. Columbia did not go to the foul line.
Okay, as we take a look down at the floor, Mark Eckert is going back to his box and 1. And it's Riekert shadowing Mike Whistler. Shot no good. Smith among traffic, strong inside. Now he has it stolen. Kerry Smith way off the mark. Whistler taps it in from behind.
I tell you what, that wasn't Ryan Smith's fault. He needed help. Somebody had to come to him. He had used up his dribble, and there was a 2-time on him. A guard had to get back there.
Riekert bumped from behind by Chris Feil.
Columbia came into this game 22-4. They lost twice to Ephrata. They lost twice to Warwick, although they did beat Warwick in the first time they played this year. Eastern, of course, comes in the 4th-seeded team at 20-5.
And Warwick was here earlier today as they played in the Quad A consolation game, came away with the 3rd-place finish. Riekert hits the first foul shot.
And Carlisle went away with another district title. So they look like they're on track to make a run now at a 4th straight Quad A title.
Riekert connects on both from the foul line. 49-48, Columbia on top.
That war that you alluded to, Kevin, I think is now brewing for the last 6 minutes and 30 seconds. You called it, Kevin. They got Riekert now on Whistler.
And Whistler gets loose, can't get the shot from inside. Robb with the block, and they're going to call him for the foul. 4 fouls on John Robb.
Well, they're probably going to call it when he extends through, but that looked like a pretty good block, Kevin. Let's watch it through here. That's a good block in the college ranks.
As much as we've seen them, the referees let everybody play here this weekend. This one's been a little bit tightly called. Whistler can't hit the first. Second one's too long, and Smith gets the rebound for the Golden Knights. So here come the Knights now with a chance to take the lead. Riekert gets it inside to Robb. Turn around from the baseline, and he's got it. 50-49, the Golden Knights.
So Whistler has 33 with that shot. Robb has 19 on the night. But more importantly to John Robb, Eastern is up by 1.
Feil gets it away to Ellis. Inside to Whistler it goes. Shot is too long. Burke with the rebound. Oh, goes up nicely over Ryan Smith and puts it in.
Burke was very patient that time. He didn't really rush his shot or create a walk for himself.
Another long entry pass. Robb to the left baseline. This time can't get it. Knocks it away over to Ryan Smith. And with the second effort, he got it off the glass.
Good effort back up off his feet after he missed the first offensive rebound. I can't believe they're letting him get away with those long entry passes.
Ellis to Kerry Smith. They dump it into Whistler, and he's fouled from behind by Kirk Riekert.
I like this move, Kevin. It was one that you had talked about at the halftime break, maybe Riekert would be good at 6'3" and a little bit physical size to him to match up on Whistler. Takes a little bit of the pressure off Rob as well as Ryan Smith, both of who like to concentrate on.
Not over the limit yet, so the Crimson Tide will have to inbound. Now they find Whistler at the foul line. File cross court to Burke, and how did that pass get through? Kerry Smith with the follow, can't get it. Ryan Smith comes away with the Eastern rebound.
More importantly, how did he miss that shot? It was a gimme.
Knob goes down to the baseline. Now he looks back outside, instead dumps it into Rob, and he's fouled by Whistler, and it's going to be 4 on him. So you see it, the pass goes inside, and Rob draws the foul.
Got away with that, too, because he was trying to put the ball down the floor with his right hand. And Whistler just didn't give ground and leaned with him for the foul.
Rob gets the first.
John Robb, 65 of 140, 46% on the season. Certainly could improve those stats before going on to college.
Can't hit the second when Smith has his hands on it, but Mike Burke comes away with it for the Crimson Tide. 2-point Golden Knight lead with 4:45 to play in the ball game.
And it's still Kirk Riekert on Whistler.
Ellis back to File. They try and dump it inside. Rob comes up with the steal.
Some of that fire left over, some embers still burning, Kevin.
Mark Eckert and the Golden Knights take timeout. They've gone on top with 4.5 to play in the ball game, 53-51.
I don't think you should ever forget that the complete freedom of this station to broadcast the news you're watching is made possible because of the Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution, the words we live by.
Hello, I'm Smokey Bear, and these little fellows are gummy bears. We care about the forest and its creatures. But sometimes people get careless with fire, and our forest is destroyed. Please help old Smokey and the gummy bears. Be careful with fire. Remember, only you can prevent forest fires.
The Golden Knights on top by 2, but more importantly, the big guys on both sides in foul trouble.
And since they're both so key to their teams, they have to be left in, so I guess it probably becomes a matter of who may go first.
Pass tipped out of bounds. It's still going to be Eastern ball. You know, you say that, Craig, and sure, John Robb is important to the Eastern lineup, but they still got other guys that can score and put the ball in the hoop.
I agree.
Columbia hasn't proven that yet.
I agree with you, because if Whistler goes, there goes 33 points. Burke has 9. He's the next closest.
Robb from the baseline, too long, and they're going to get Mike Burke with the push off inside. 3 on Burke.
Well, unlike the other night, Eastern, their coaching staff has their offense in front of them in the second half. The other night they had their defense. And the other night against Danville Cleona, their defense created a tremendous amount of offense in that fourth quarter. And this time, Donnie Knobb's going to go to the line. Let's see if his vision is affected from the charity stripe.
It wasn't affected on the first one, and that gives Eastern its biggest lead of the night at 54-51.
He's a 67% shooter, averaging 8 a game during the season, 4 in the playoffs, but great defense.
Up by 4 now are the Golden Knights. File has his pass tipped. It goes right to Ellis. Now he goes with the skip pass across the court. Ellis for 3. Too long, and Ryan Smith is there with the rebound.
This is about the time they spurted before.
Rob from Abel. Paul Abel looks over, puts his fist in the air, says, all right, here we go. The Golden Knights on top by 6.
To help them through their day, some people need special things, which are vital to children and adults with muscles severely damaged by neuromuscular disease. The Muscular Dystrophy Association is fighting 35 neuromuscular diseases with a comprehensive research program that will one day end the threat of these disorders forever.
For more information, contact your local MDA office.
Over 50 Carlsons were at last year's reunion, 3 of them with heart defects that a few years ago could have been fatal. But thanks to research like that sponsored by the American Heart Association, there are more Carlsons to keep up with. The American Heart Association, we're fighting for your life.
I hope they never stop fighting.
Columbia to inbounds. They trail by 4, 57-51 with 3:45 to play in the ball game. Whistler draws the foul from Riekert. The shot won't go in.
Kevin, I am sure that Rick Bentley said in that timeout, the ball must get back into Whistler's hands. He had 23 points in the first half, just 10 in the second half, and many of those 10 he had to create himself off offensive rebounds. He's not involved in the offense.
And he really forced that shot up there, but fortunately, I guess for him, he drew the foul from Riekert.
Great foul shooter at 84% is Mike Whistler.
Gets the first.
I'm telling you, you don't see many big kids in 10th grade that shoot fouls as well as he does. You don't see many players in high school that shoot fouls as well as he does. Of course, you could say he gets enough practice during the season.
Rolls the second one in. 5 of 7 from the line for Whistler. 35 points on the night.
Columbia has 2 timeouts left. Eastern has 1 with 3:30 to go in the ball game.
Way out top now is Riekert. And he's hammered in the backcourt by Ellis. 3 on Albert Ellis. Craig, you said this is about the same time the other night against Anvil Cleona that they made the run.
Just a little bit sooner than this, but boy, when they took off, much as they did on that fast break right before the Columbia timeout, where they really generated a lot of enthusiasm.
Riekert connects on the first.
Riekert's been very consistent, 63% free throw shooter. He's averaged 12 on the season, 12 in the playoffs. So he has been there and been that steadying influence.
And calmly sinks 2 right here, 59-53, the Golden Knights.
He stays with Whistler on defense, so he's done a little bit of everything for him, including handling the basketball, is Kirk Riekert.
File looks for Burke. Cross court to Ellis. Tries to get it into Whistler. Knob knocks it away, and Robb comes up with the steal and draws the foul from Albert Ellis.
That's 2 fouls that Albert Ellis has made in the last 30 seconds that made no sense at all. He had no chance of making a good play there. Not a smart play by Albert Ellis.
Ellis joins the list of players in foul trouble as he has reached 4 fouls. Robb gets the first. 5 of 8 from the line for John Robb. Add another one to that total. 24 points on the night. 8-point Eastern lead, 61-53. Kerry Smith back to File. Penetrates the zone, dumps it across to Albert Ellis. Now he's left alone on the wing. Can't get it. Robb gets the rebound. Has it stripped by Ellis, and Ellis knocked it off of Robb's hand.
Close call on that one. They could have gotten Ellis over the wrist of Robb. And usually on a play like that, you see the ball go to the team that it was knocked out of their hands.
Right. File for 3. Too long. Whistler gets the rebound, and Ryan Smith steals it away. Down to 2.5 to play in the ball game. Smith cross court to Abel. Tries to go inside. Can't do so, but he's fouled by Chris File.
Abel goes to the line, a pretty good foul shooter, 71% on the year, but he shot just 31, 22 of 31 on the year. Columbia has made 5 of 8 free throws tonight. Eastern has made 15 of 19. almost 80% of their shots tonight, and they continue to be important during this last 2 minutes and 26 seconds.
I was just going to say they'd hit 4 in a row. Abel couldn't connect, but Robb stays with the rebound and gets it away for the Golden Knights.
And Robb escaped what could have been a 5th foul call by going over the back.
Abel penetrates, flies in there, and he's going to get called for the charge as he went right over top of Mike Burke.
That's the second time Paul Abel's done that in the second half. It's kind of a freshman mistake. It's the kind of stuff he hasn't been doing in the latter part of the season. I'm not saying he didn't have a good opportunity to go towards the basket, but when you're up by 8 with about 2 minutes to go, you don't make those kind of moves unless you're positive.
Whistler draws the foul from Knob, or did it just go out of bounds? Just out of bounds, they say. 8-point Golden Knight lead with 2:06 to play. File for 3, rims out. Ryan Smith right there for the rebound. Gives it away to Paul Abel. He's hounded in the backcourt by Ellis. And now Kirk Riekert gets it across the timeline. Mark Eckert and the Golden Knights want to talk it over. That's their last time out on the night. Let's keep that in mind. But they're still ahead by 8 with 1:51 to play in the ball game.
You're Alan Hayes.
Oh, I knew that.
The old guard and the new wave.
To tell you about another down-to-earth benefit from space research.
I can't believe these glasses for the deaf.
A tiny microphone on the frame connects to a portable computer which converts spoken words into visual cues that appear right on the lens of the glasses.
Huh. The eye's doing what the ears can't. Incredible.
Space technology.
This is what's in it for you.
The Golden Knights, 1:51 seconds away from their second consecutive District 3 Boys AA title.
And they've done it in second half fashion. You know, they've really been that kind of team this year, Kevin. Almost like they need that adversity to light a fire.
Riekert to inbounds right at half court. Lobs it up for John Robb, comes down with it. Now it's Riekert away to Abel. Left alone, but he's content just to run some time.
That's exactly what they're going to do. And the way they're shooting fouls tonight, Kevin, that's not such a bad move.
Abel to Riekert. Left alone, off the glass, and he rolls it in. Riekert's down. Got to get up and play defense, and right there's his man with the ball, Mike Whistler. Whistler for 3, unconscious. Riekert just hangs his head and says, what do I got to do?
Can't do anything in that situation. He was falling towards the baseline.
Knob gets the foul from Albert Ellis, and that's going to be all for number 12. So the 5'8" senior will sit down with a total of 5 points on the night. Good drive, but Riekert really took a hard spill at the end of this, Craig.
I thought that could have been a block charge. It looked like the defense came over late. But take the 2 and get up and go play defense, which is exactly what he did. As much as you defense on Mike Whistler on the perimeter when he shoots that 3-pointer.
Knob can't roll it in. Whistler comes away with the rebound and pushes it up court. Riekert goes for the steal. Whistler behind his back. Again from 3. Follows his missed shot off the glass for 2. Columbia quickly with the timeout. But what a big play that was. Cut it back to 5.
You talk about somebody being inspired all of a sudden. Can you believe how quickly Whistler got from 3-point range in to follow his shot? If Riekert does anything, if he knows he's going to take that 3-point shot, just block him out. That's your job, Kirk. You're not going to block the shot. Just keep him off the board.
Well, and also don't go for the steal in the backcourt either.
Right.
That puts Whistler up to 40 points on the night. As we take a look at the Columbia huddle. Boy, he is impressive, Craig. Boy, we've seen so many good individual efforts. Will Lasky.
Kassan
Jenkins. Robb against Danville Cleon. Ryan Smith against York Catholic. But Whistler tonight, 40 points. And interestingly, he's going to sit down on the bench.
Well, not too bad a move. He's got 4 fouls, and I'm sure they're going to just rest him momentarily and bring him right back in. A little unusual of a move, but now I'd go right to Rob. You know, why fool around? Why fool around holding the ball?
Riekert hammered in the backcourt. So he's going to take a trip to the line.
And, of course, with the three-point play, this game is far from being over as Eastern needs to make some foul shots now. Down 5 with 1:01 to play.
Riekert with 14 points on the night, 4 of 4 from the line. First shot is short. Whistler back in the game, gets the rebound. Gets it away to File, down in the corner to Cisak, to Whistler, trailing off the glass for 2.
He wanted to call timeout and pulled it back before the tee was closed.
63-60, Eastern. Riekert fouled in the backcourt.
Well, they've missed the front end of a couple 1-and-1s now. 3 1-and-1s they've missed. That's a potential 6 points there. And the way they've been shooting on the night, that should have been 5 points.
There it is, the last trophy to be handed out this weekend here at the Farm Show. And a 3-point lead right now for the Golden Knights with 44 seconds to play. Riekert rolls the first one in. Four-point Eastern lead. 5-point Eastern lead. Chris File now out front, gives it away to Whistler for 3. Too hard. Rob gets the rebound, and he's fouled by Whistler, and that's going to be all.
Whistler did not shoot a normal shot that time. He just kind of launched it in semi-desperation.
And before he leaves, he's going to encourage his teammates on. Leaves the game 42 points, 5 3-point field goals.
Mike Whistler's 42 points tonight is the second most ever in a AAA game. The previous high was 43, shared by 2 ball players.
Now it's John Robb's turn at the line. Too long on the first, tries to come over the top of Cisak, can't do it. Cisak away to File for 3, too long. Abel gets the rebound, goes cross court for Riekert, pushes it into Rob, loses it.
That was a good steal, clean steal.
Burke for 3, too short. They try and save it underneath. Who's it going to be off of? Eastern basketball.
Like the call, very deliberate call. I didn't feel there was any doubt that it was white ball.
10 seconds to play. The Golden Knights by 5. Smith fouled in the backcourt. The Golden Knight fans on this side, they're up and they're going wild. Ryan Smith, who averages 18 points a ball game in the playoffs, at 13 tonight. 14. Six-point Eastern lead with 8 seconds to play. Mark Eckert pulls his team off the foul line. Smith can't get it. File gets the rebound. Pushes it up, down to 5, 4. File for 3, can't get it. The Golden Knights defend their district AA crown. A happy bunch of Eastern players, cheerleaders, and fans celebrate their 66-60 victory tonight in the boys' AA final over the Columbia Crimson Tide.
helps make older people's lives worth living again. Please support us. We can make a world of difference.
But who can I turn to if you turn away?
Back at the farm show. Last night it was York Catholic's turn to collect their medals. Tonight it's the Eastern Golden Knights that are going to walk away with their medals from their 66 victory in the boys AA championship. Mark Eckert, you get a look at him there, his second crown in 2 years. He's going to present the awards to his individual team players. Have to move the photographers away so they can see who they're announcing. And we're going to start on the far end. Matt Rudisil, Mark Townsley, Darren Heneyes, Matt Harrison, Mike Mabel, and we get down now. Ed Reisinger, we saw him in the semifinals come away with a great defensive effort. Don Knobb overcomes the eye injury tonight. Bob Christ. Paul Abel, and remember when we saw him way back in our first season of the game against York High, how tentative he was, but now he's led the Eastern Golden Knights. Kirk Riekert hit some key foul shots tonight. Brian Smith collected his medal. And now the big guy, John Robb, 2 years in a row, Eastern has come away with the boys AA title. Get the ladder out, they're going to cut the nets down, but before they do that, they got one more piece of hardware to take back to Wrightsville. Riekert and Robb hoisted high above their heads. The Golden Knights are once again the champions of the boys District 3 Class AA.
I'm Tom Watson. When I'm not playing golf, I like to read about it. And for my money, there's nothing better than Golf Digest. Golf Digest covers every angle of the game thoroughly. And now, you can get Golf Digest. Here's how.
Call toll-free 800-892-9000 for a year of Golf Digest, only $12.77, 46% off the newsstand price, and you'll receive as a bonus tips from the tour free. Call 800-892-9000 now.
With Coach Mark Eckert of the winning Eastern Golden Knights. And Coach, tremendous balance from your team. Robb had 24, Riekert had 16, Smith had 13, Knobb had 10. On the other side of the ledger, Mike Whistler, 42 points, second highest in district totals. He was tough tonight early on.
He's tough every time he goes out on the floor. He really hurt us worse tonight than he did the first game, and that was one of our big concerns, to try and contain him. We didn't do a very good job on that. But I think our kids showed more balance than when we played them the first time. And we kind of went to a gimmick in the last quarter just to try and slow him down a little bit And I thought it did throw him off a little bit when we went to the box and won and put Kirk on him man-to-man.
It really did. It looked like they lost track of him in the offense in the third quarter. Then he got back into it on his own doing. And then I thought Kirk Riekert did a superb job. Talk about your foul shooting was very good, too. Obviously, you fouled Whistler out, but you shot real well. You missed the front end of 3 one-on-ones coming down a stretch, which gives coaches a few more gray hairs. But generally speaking, that was a key part of the ball game in the second half.
Yeah, the one-on-ones we missed, it's a sad thing to say, but I'm kind of used to it. I hate to admit that. We're not a good foul shooting team. That's our Achilles heel. But when we had to make them tonight, as you said, 2 of them there running the road, but the rest of the time we did make it. Some of them didn't look too pretty and bounced around, but they came out the bottom end, and that's all that really counts.
Final question. This is a team that all year long, it seems like they need that adversity at halftime to come out and play the great second half. It's against Dallastown Catholic. I mean, you've seen it a number of times. Anvil Cleona against the great Will Lasky. They did it tonight against Mike Whistler. Is that the nature of this team? Or do you just have to raise your voice a little bit and make some adjustments at halftime?
You have to do that at halftime, but I wish you or somebody could tell me how we could get away from that, because I don't really like it, and yet our kids seem to thrive on that. I really didn't think when we were down at halftime, when we were down 6 or 7, that our kids thought they were out of the ball game. They just showed such confidence, and we just had to turn things up a notch, and that's what got us through.
Well, if they thrive on that, and at the end of the game, they're the victors, you can't ask for anything more. Coach Mark Eckert, congratulations to you and to your team and to all your fans.
Thank you very much.
Kevin and I will be back for a final wrap right after this.
Poised, in readiness to take on the enemy within. Drugs. Your Pennsylvania Army National Guard battles the enemy threatening us from the inside out, declaring war on drug abuse. You can join the force. Just say no. Another public service of your Pennsylvania Army National Guard.
They have to replace the net at the farm show, and the reason that they do is because the Eastern Golden Knights have cut it down in celebration of their 66-60 triumph tonight against the Columbia Crimson Tide. And Craig, as we take a look at the game stats, field goal percentage for Columbia really didn't come up in the second half.
No, it really didn't. They had that great shooting half in the first half, but primarily on their three-point shots. That really dropped off in the second half as Columbia hit just 7 of 20 for the game. Most of those coming in the first half, 5 of those in particular coming in the first half. So they dropped to 35%, 40% on the field goal percentage overall. 63% at the line, 33 rebounds for Columbia, 8 turnovers. For Eastern Golden Knights, the second half was a completely different story for them. They were on an upswing, as they have been all year after halftime. 49% free from the field, 25% from three-point range, 2 of 8, 67% from the foul line, and that's really where they won the ball game. 18 of 27 from the free throw line. 40 rebounds for the Golden Knights, 12 turnovers. So it was an outstanding effort by them, particularly in the second half.
Individually, the Columbia Crimson Tide with 60 points tonight, 42 coming from number 31, Mike Whistler. The rest of the scoring goes like this: Burke with 9, Ellis with 5, and Kerry Smith with 4. Over on the eastern side, Rob leads the way with 24, Riekert with 16, Ryan Smith with 14, and Donnie Knobb with 10. Craig, I don't know what Mark Eckert says at halftime, but I think I'm going to package it as a motivational speech and sell it to all the coaches in the county.
I really believe it's probably a combination of some adjustments that he makes, some things that he says, and I think it's just indicative or typical of this group of players with their senior leadership and with some good young players blended in like Ryan Smith, like Paul Abel. They just seem to have what it takes to face being down at halftime and coming back extremely strong in the second half. And a team like that you have to admire, because that's the kind of team that can go very far in a state playoff.
After Wednesday's semifinals, we said, let's bring 3 district titles home for York County. We're still perfect on the boys' side. 1 from York Catholic, 1 from Eastern, and now they hit the state trail.
I think they'll both do well. I think Eastern in particular with their size. York Catholic went further than what I ever thought they could do in districts. I thought they'd make the Final Four. They won a championship, so who knows with the Irish. They could surprise again, but please don't expect that. If they do, it's icing on the cake. For Eastern, I think with the size and experience that they have in AA, they could definitely be a factor in the East, and if you can make it through the East, it's a one-shot and done deal.
That's going to do it for tonight and for the weekend here from the Farm Show. We end up on an up note, a 66-60 victory for the Eastern Golden Knights as they defeat the Columbia Crimson Tide right here at the Farm Show. For statisticians Gary Miller and Paul Goodemote, my partner Craig Smith, and the rest of the hardworking Cable 4 crew, this is Kevin Drawball saying so long, everybody.